Players had flocked to SBMM Warzone in a bid to better understand Call of Duty's mysterious, skill-based matchmaking system. And in most gamers' minds, that was the problem. They were doing a better job of providing a service than Activision was. Happy gaming.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the Onside Radio E Report. The card is out. The show is on. Soccer fans. Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard is on. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. The text line is 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Lining up for that pressure kick, here's your host, Austin Robillard, with Red Card Radio.
Welcome in, everybody. Another Saturday here at Inter Miami CF Stadium. This is Red Card Radio. I am your host, Austin Robillard, and we have 2 hours coming up of football talk, soccer talk, if you want to call it, whatever it is. Thank you so much for tuning in. Always happy to be here, and can't wait to talk football with you. We got a really good show lined up for you today. Later on, we're going to get into, finally, again, European/club action. The international break is over. Some people like it, some people don't. If you're a Chelsea fan, I assume you're hating it right now after your big loss. I'll get into that later. I'm going to also talk a little bit about the U.S. men's. I talked about it with Toast and Marsh. I do a weekly segment with them every single Wednesday, 8:35. You guys should tune into that, 4th and 20. They go from 8 to 10 every morning. But I'm going to be talking about the U.S. men's and the U.S. youth national team not qualifying for the Olympics and how I think the U.S. men's could possibly line up for World Cup qualifying. As we know, we didn't qualify for the last World Cup, so this is pretty important. But we'll get into that in the second hour. A lot of good stuff coming up. And then also we have Champions League coming back finally. A couple of key injuries that have just been announced, and it's going to shake things up quite a bit. But let's stay local for a little bit. Obviously, with our club here, Inter Miami, we're sitting in their stadium, and it seems as every week I have some big breaking news to bring to you guys. Every week there's something, and this has been in the off-season. This has been in a long off-season, an off-season that's unprecedented. It's just been nuts. So many different signings. We have the investigation with Matuidi, all these people coming in, everything like that. It's just, so there's always something going on, and usually it's been good. Everything has usually been good. It's like big signings or Neville being announced or Beckham in town, training getting started, anything like that. But unfortunately, I have to start the show today with some bad news. I'm sure you guys have heard. A couple of weeks ago, they announced a whole entire preseason schedule. There was supposed to be about 5, 6, 7 games, something like that. Not happening. We got to play one of them. On my birthday, March 20th, was supposed to be the Miami Derby. There was no Miami Derby. Miami FC had a COVID concern. Then the boys down here from Miami go up to Sarasota for a trip to take on a couple of other teams. They take on Tampa Bay in a preseason game, which was good. They lose 1-0, which was not good, but it's also not that big of a concern. At all, by the way. Do not be alarmed by a 1-0 preseason defeat to the Tampa Bay Rowdies, because if you are just, you're overthinking it. I'm pretty sure that we had 2 separate teams playing that game. We had a pink team and a gray team, it seemed like, wearing different jerseys. Now, this stadium was behind closed doors, so this is not 100%, but from what I could gather, through my own digging, through my own looking at social media pictures, talking to some of my colleagues, including that of Alex Winley, it seemed like there were 2 different teams on the field and Neville was trying different things. So don't get overly alarmed. I don't think that the squad, it's a preseason game. They're not trying to go out and win 10-0 against the USL side. Nothing like that. So don't worry. But maybe worry a little bit, actually, now that I say that, because they were supposed to go on and play the Charleston Battery. And that didn't happen. And they were supposed to play the Red Bulls. That didn't happen because the rest of our preseason was shut down due to health and safety protocols and protection of staff and players. Now, what this means, I'm not really sure. I am assuming that there are some COVID concerns, but I'm not going to say or try and imply or anything along the lines of somebody tested positive, because I feel like that's pretty irresponsible given the fact that we don't know any of the facts. A lot of teams were in Sarasota. There was going to be like a whole preseason thing, and Nashville was there. The Red Bulls were there, and a lot of the games got shut down. But nobody knows exactly why. Nobody has announced any confirmed cases. So to try and say that that was being suggested or that was being implied, and to actually go out and try to confirm that, I am not going to do that. I'm not going to I can't just speculate on a COVID positive case. I just think that that's very irresponsible, and I'm not going to do that. I don't know what happened, but if they had a reason to shut it down for the health and safety of the players, then good. Good on them. I'm glad they did it, trying to be as safe as possible, and the team is back training here in Fort Lauderdale at the stadium. I pulled up today. I saw them out there in the pink training kits all the way back. They train as far away from the kind of main road as possible. And obviously every single Saturday I come to, we have the academy kids training. And there's either a game going on or something. There's always something going on. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so preseason's cut short. I don't know exactly how I feel about that. I actually have somebody to come on and talk to us about it a little bit. It's the Sun Sentinel beat writer, Kobe Price. We've talked to him before. He does a great job covering the team. We're going to be talking with him in a couple minutes, actually. So that's going to be really cool. He'll be coming up on in the second segment, so stay tuned. Can't wait for that. Can't wait to talk to him. It's been a while. Tried to get him on the show last week. We got him on this week. He's got some great insight for us. He always does. Make sure you stay tuned with him and with us, and as we talk to him. A couple other things regarding Inter Miami. The season starts in 15 days. That's right. 15 days until we have a game. April 18th against the Galaxy, our first 3 games. Look, I'm not sure exactly what's going on when it comes to tickets and to how many people are going to be in the stadium, but I've got a couple of gatherings, things that I've heard from other fans through my season ticket representative. This is what they've said, and this is what I've heard. Now, a lot of season ticket holders have been given dates to buy tickets to the first 3 games. None of them are guaranteed. You have to log in at a certain time, at your specific time. They release X amount of tickets, and you need to be, computer savvy enough to go on there and buy one. It's first come, first serve. But that's just for the first 3 games. They're saying that by the 4th home game that is, they possibly could be allowed to have a full capacity stadium. That's sometime in the middle of May. I'm not sure if that's 100%. I don't think it is 100% at the moment, but that is something that they are projecting. So they've only released tickets to the first 3 games at minimum capacity, and only for season ticket holders. So they must keep that in mind. If it comes to the 4th game and they're ready to go 100%, they absolutely will. It's we're in a time now where people are getting vaccinated. The vaccination restrictions are coming down. A lot more of the masses are able to get it. So they're trying to. They're projecting that, but don't think that it's certain. But at least for the first 3 games, we know it's season ticket holders, and they're being announced throughout the days. I think my window to buy is April 5th at 12 o'clock, so we'll see how that goes. But if you're a season ticket holder, good luck to you trying to get tickets. For anybody else, maybe throughout the season we'll have 100% capacity. This is actually a vaccination day after all. So, all right, coming up, we're going to be talking with Kobe Price. Make sure you stay tuned. And catch a South Florida Staple every afternoon with our man Alex Donno as he hosts the Man of the Match from 3 to 6 p.m. He covers everything from football to football to MMA. Tune into one of the most complete sports shows in the country with the Man of the Match with Alex Donno, 3 to 6 p.m. exclusively at OnSideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take Onside Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at onsideradio.com.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Duncan to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
Saturday mornings, 9 a.m., Sean Stanley hosts the Square Circle Digest.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here, I'm the man.
Now, wrestling fans have a place to call home as Sean covers the very colorful world of wrestling. Tune in every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on the home for sports fans worldwide, onsideradio.com.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, send a text. The text line is 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right, and we're back here with Red Card Radio. I've got a pretty special guest here on the phone line. His name is Kobe Price, the beat writer for FAU football and Inter Miami CF for the Sun Sentinel. So glad to have you on. Kobe, man, how you doing?
I'm well. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks so much for giving me the time. I've been wanting to talk to you for weeks, and I'm glad we finally get to put it together, my man.
No, me too. I'm glad to be back.
All right,
Looking forward to it.
I got a couple of questions I want to ask you about because, you know, you've been keeping up with the team as much as I have, writing your preseason articles, everything like that. I just was telling all of the listeners in the first segment about, you know, preseason being canceled for the most part. I mean, we had the game against the Rowdies, but that was it due to health and safety concerns. Is there anything you can tell us about that? Like, is there anything that I didn't hear? They just said health and safety concerns, but nothing was really confirmed when it comes to positive cases or anything like that. Did we know what was going on there?
No, they haven't really confirmed too much about what was going on. It seems like, from what I've heard, what I read, it seemed like there may have been issues with multiple teams, including Inter Miami. But that's most of what I've heard and read. But nothing confirmed by the clubs themselves, whether that be Inter Miami, Charlotte, not Charlotte, Charleston, Nashville, and I think the Red Bulls for the other team.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what I thought too. I just wanted to make sure there. I didn't want to, speculate and say that there were any positive cases among our team. It seems like everything's good to go down here, though, because they are training down at the facility this morning, so that's good to see. But without the preseason being here, we only got the one game in. Do you think that might have an effect come day one, or do you think it may be a positive with some of our players coming back from international duty able to get full training sessions with the team? Which way do you stand on that?
I definitely think it's going to have an effect, not a good effect, I should say, on the team's preseason preparations. More so because, even with players coming back from international duty and players arriving, what's today, April 2nd, I guess yesterday, April 1st, just a couple of weeks before the season starts, it helps to, play against other teams, get that kind of on-field familiarity against other teams, against other players. And I think it will have some kind of effect, at least early on, and maybe not just the terms of the quality of play, but also maybe some lineup decisions. Maybe this will force Phil Neville to go with the starting 11 or a rotation that he feels that has a little bit more familiarity with one another, simply because they've played games going back to last year. Some of those returnees have played more games with each other, as opposed to some of the newcomers. They may not have the same familiarity. Yes, they've been practicing for X amount of weeks, but they haven't actually had the time to really go against one another. I know that they said beforehand they plan on having a scrimmage, a friendly against another team next week, but we haven't had an announcement for that. I know that's still on the table, but it's still up in the air at this moment.
So speaking of some of those new guys coming in, a lot of guys that are going to see the downside of not getting a preseason are two guys that you just wrote about actually in one of your most recent pieces who joined the team yesterday in training is Grigore and Kelvin Leerdam. They're finally in training, but without those games, how does Phil Neville figure out, if they're both ready to start in his lineup, in his tactics? We don't really know. But those two signings in general, Grigore and Kelvin Leerdam, what do you make of those two guys, and how impactful do you see each one of them being?
Grigore, I think is going to be, honestly, I'm trying to think about all the offseason signings they've made right now in my head, but I think he's going to be the most impactful one, without a doubt. It's really, he's coming off being in season. So I think the fitness will be there, even though there's a little bit of layup. I don't think they'll be concerned about, is he fit? Is he ready to get into the games? I think it is more about the acclimation, learning Phil's system, learning the other players. And he's a pro. He's I think he just turned 27. He's been a professional for a while. So I think it won't be too difficult for him. But 2 weeks is still not that much time, especially if they only get to play maybe one preseason friendly. That's a little rough, but I think he'll be the most impactful signing. I look forward to what he'll bring to the team, just because they did lack a little bit of bite in the central midfield, and he seems to have a lot of bite to him, a lot of aggression, very, very passionate player. So he'll be impactful. And Kelvin, how it's looking now, maybe he won't start off as the starting right back, just because I know he played full 90s, but during when he was on international duty, but there still is that acclimation period that he needs to go through, and he is coming off of, yes, he played full 90s internationally, but he hasn't actually been in season because he's been in MLS. I expect him to be the starting right back at some point. I'm just not sure if Phil will put him in that spot on the season opener against the Galaxy, just because, he hasn't been around the team up until, I guess that would be yesterday. Practicing with the team, that is.
So then I was going to get into this a little later. I was going to ask you about the lineup, but we'll just go specifically to the right back position. Do you see Dylan Nealis starting there, or do you see maybe Nico Figal starting there? A lot of people have gone both ways about this. I think the way I've heard Neville talk about Figal, it's probably going to be Nealis at right back if it's not Leerdam. Is that where you kind of stand?
Yeah, I think at least to start the season, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm expecting Leerdam to be the season, once the season gets going, to be the starting right back.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe not, like I said, maybe when we on the Galaxy on the 18th, maybe it won't. Maybe it will be Nealis, just because there is that familiarity not just between Neville and Nealis, because they've been around each other long, but between Nealis and Figal, Nealis and LGP, Nealis and some of the attacking pieces. I think we'll get to Leardom. Maybe it will be the first match. Well, we're not sure. But I do expect Figal to be a starting center back to kind of answer that question, too. I think it'll be LGP and Figal as a center back tandem with Nealis on the right. And maybe that will change Leardom stepping to the right back once he gets a little bit of match time. Or maybe Neville will throw him in. You're like, you know what? You play full nines internationally. You're in good shape. You understand what we're doing. You and Chris have been in communication. You get it. Just you're ready to go. But I do expect Figal to be the starting center back. And we're still waiting on – I don't know if he's in South Florida yet. I haven't heard anything, but I would imagine he is on Ryan Shawcross to join the team for training. So the fact that nobody's saying anything about him training with the team yet, we are the home opener is in 15 days, I want to say, if my math is correct. It's hard for me to imagine him being the starting center back when you have two very viable options in LGP and Figal, especially with so little time in the preseason.
You stole one of the questions right out of my notebook. I was going to ask if you had heard of anything about Shawcross being in South Florida, but we aren't 100%. But we know he's definitely not on the training pitch. I feel like Inter Miami have done a good job at releasing when players have joined. Obviously, we got the Grigore and Leardom thing. I think I saw that Jovan Jones is sitting on the sideline too at training. I think he posted on his Instagram story, but I know that Shawcross has not at least trained with the team, or if he has, they've been very secretive. But for me personally, even if he has, I still see LGP and Figal as number 1 and number 2. I don't think there's any way to I just don't see how a 33, 34-year-old, veteran center back who's coming off a ton of injury can overlap two guys in their prime, especially guys who have played in MLS before. I don't see it personally.
Yeah, I'm not. I know that there is maybe some thought or expectation that he would start, and I guess the thinking is, there's the pedigree, there's the leadership, there is he has the qualities, but I'm with you in the sense that that's a veteran player. I see him when they signed him. I saw him more as a viable rotation piece at that position, maybe a sometime starter in case Figal or LGP. We're about to have a 34-game season, unlike last year.
Right.
So maybe they'll need a little bit more break, or maybe they'll need a little rest, or maybe, one of them may get, LGP gets the occasional yellow card. So, sometimes you need another option. Back there, but another veteran option that is. So I thought him more as that. Now, if they signed him to be a starter and they were either going to push Figal to the right back, which I think he's not as comfortable at as he is center back, or he was going to come off the bench, then I'm a little more about that signing, just because I think LGP and Figal, that's your bread and butter with those in that position.
I would totally agree with you, my man. I wrote a piece a couple of days ago trying to project what I thought the back line would be like, and we're kind of on the same page. I fully, except for when it comes to that left side. I think there's been some back and forth about is Jovan Jones ready? It's kind of the same thing as Kelvin Leardom. He was playing full 90s for Trinidad and Tobago. Is Breck Shea the starter there for you, in your opinion, or is it Jovan Jones? Or maybe is Patrick Segrist ready? I don't really know. If Jovan Jones isn't training yet, it's the same situation as Leardom, where I think they have to go with Shea just because of familiarity, comfort, and who's been training. But I thought the Jones signing really was for him to just come in and be right in. And now that the international break has taken such a toll, it might be Breck Shea, and then we're just waiting on Kieran Gibbs to come in the summer. I'm not totally sure. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think it'll be. I'm expecting it to be Shea for the similar reason. I'm expecting Nealis to be the starting right back, more so simply because there is that. Like I said, we're really only 2 weeks away from the start of the season. Yes, Jovan Jones, he is in South Florida. I did see the same his Instagram story. He was on the sideline. I actually saw it right before we hopped on the call. He was on the sideline at their practice earlier this morning. I'm not exactly sure why. What's going on there? Maybe I'm not sure what happened. Maybe he picked up a neck, or I'm not really sure. But he is at least in South Florida, but he has yet to actually start training with the team. So his acclimation period, at least in terms of group training, will be even less than what Leardom will get. And I just told you right now, I expect Nealis to start over Liam at least opening day, simply because he just doesn't have the time. So I'm expecting the same with Jones. Maybe match 3, 4, that's when you'll see Jones slot into the starting left back, which I do expect to happen at some point. I do expect him to be the starting left back once the season starts, and then maybe he may step up into that left wing once, Gibbs arrives in July. But I think Shea and Nealis will be your starting fullbacks come versus the LA Galaxy. Not because of Leardom and Jones not being the guys, simply because there's just so, we talked about this last year about how the roster's coming together so late, and so, it just took them so long to get all their players together. We're seeing something similar, more so because the international break happened, and then they have the quarantine period right before the season starts.
Well, you heard it here first. Kobe Price has announced that, Dylan Nealis and Breck Shea could be the fullbacks. There you go. To start day one. Now, I wanted to ask you, too. I wanted to ask you, too. I have not heard anything. I go back with, I think, someone too, with Alex Windley. We talk a lot about who we think, just for fun, who we think could potentially be club captain going into 2021. There's been no announcement on it. I don't know who's going to be wearing the armband on day one. Do you have a pick for club captain? Do you have someone in mind? Maybe I'm throwing you fully off guard here because this is not a question a lot of people think about, but I wanted to ask, I think it's fun. Who do you see wearing the captain's armband against the LA Galaxy?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, this is the first time I've thought about this. This is the first time. Yeah, this is a really great question.
Do you want me to give you my answer first so you can maybe go off of that?
Yeah, I think I have an answer, but I want to hear yours first.
Okay, so
I think I know who I'm going to say.
I have two people that I'm thinking at this point.
For sure.
The one option I think that is my realistic option is LGP, and my second option, who I kind of want to see, is Lewis Morgan. So those are my two guys. I think realistically LGP. My want is Morgan, but LGP should be, I think, the guy, but I'm not totally sure. Who are you thinking?
I was thinking LGP.
Yeah.
We saw him wear. Some of this is buried in my memory, but I think we saw him wear their captain's armband last year. I forget if it happened. I think maybe Gonzalo Higuain wore it.
Yeah, he did.
And then I think he didn't play a match because he got the red card.
The late red card. You're right, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And then LGP wore it the next game, I want to say. And that may have been or in the match that they won against Orlando. I may be wrong on this, but I know he wore the captain's armband. But he's the guy I expect. If just off the top of my head, I didn't give this much thought, simply because he has, he is one of the more experienced players on the roster, one of the better players on the roster, in quite honesty, but also one of the more MLS experienced players on the roster. And a guy that, like I said, he may get his occasional card, but very reliable, very dependable, and just a solid. Seems like a very solid all-around guy, and I think there's a reason why he wore it last year. After all that went on in terms of Luis got hurt, and then Gonzalo wore it, and then he wore it. Maybe it was the opposite. Maybe he wore it, then Gonzalo. I think it's the former, but I think he can be a guy that he can help galvanize the team. He can be that figure. That was a very good question, simply because I had not thought. We're so close to the season opening. It hasn't even I want to say they announced Luis Robles was a captain maybe a week or two before the home opener or the season opener last year. So I guess we're gonna get an answer about this soon, or at least we should.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's just something fun to think about. But yeah, I would agree. I'm glad you agree with the LGP thing, and I think that the game that Higuain got the red. Yeah, you're right. It was might have been against Philly, or I don't remember. And then the game after, when LGP scored the winner, he was wearing that armband when we beat Orlando, and he scored that header in the 90th minute. I think that was the game he was wearing the armband. So yeah, I would love to see LGP doing it. Well, Kobe, I want to thank you very much for coming on, my man. I'm glad we got to do this, and I hope we get to do this in the future. Everybody who's listening, make sure you follow Kobe on Twitter at Kobe Price. He does a really good job, or Kobe_Price, sorry. He does a really good job covering the team for the Sun Sentinel. And like I said, Kobe, thank you so much for coming on. Hope you enjoyed, and hope we get to talk soon.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. That was Kobe Price from the Sun Sentinel here on Red Card Radio. I hope we get to talk to him more. He's got some great insight on the team, and I love getting to hear his thoughts. I love getting to hear everybody's thoughts, honestly. That was a really, really good talk with him. But we'll be right back with a couple more Into Miami things in the next segment. Sunday dominates the airwaves with Juan on Juan. From sneakers to video games to your favorite South Florida team, tune in every Sunday to Juan on Juan exclusively on the home for sports talk in South Florida. It's OnSideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take Onside Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at OnSideRadio.com.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's moretoadhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
If you missed Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report sponsored by EJDconstruction.com today, you missed this.
They put themselves in position to get probably the identical caliber player, if not the identical player. They were going to select at 3. They're going to get that player at 6. But to do so, they gave up the equivalent of 740 points, which is basically the 43rd pick in the second round. So to get a first in this, to get an extra first in this trade, you gave up a second. So ultimately, you walk away with the value of a second-round pick ahead.
Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report, brought to you by EJD Construction. Count on a company that's an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. EJDconstruction.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
And might you be buzzed when you suddenly love everything?
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right, and we're back here with Red Card Radio, here on Onside Radio. Just finished speaking with Kobe Price from the Sun Sentinel. Make sure you check him out on Twitter. He's posting a bunch of articles all the time, even through preseason here with Inter Miami at Kobe_Price. He does a good job. Really good guy. Glad to get to know him and talk to him here on the show. He does a good job covering the team for the Sun Sentinel, so that was an absolute pleasure to have him on. And I'm glad I got to ask him about the club captain thing, because it's something I wanted to touch on. Now, he gave a really good reason, or a couple of really good reasons as to why LGP should be captain, and I think that is the realistic option going into this year. Now, I have no idea who the captain is going to be. I don't know what training is looking like. I don't know where Phil Neville's head is at. We don't get to talk to him very much. But I think, just off of, I'm going just off the top of my head, I would say it has to be LGP for a couple of reasons. Now, like I said, Kobe Price alluded to a lot of them, and it's his leadership quality, his presence in the league thus far has been outstanding. He's that center back, vocal defender, vocal leader. He's getting familiar with the team. It'll be, he's had over half a year now, and a couple of days ago, I was on Instagram and I was headed to work. It's about 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning, sitting in the parking lot getting ready to go in, and I'm on Instagram, just chilling in the car, and I pull up LGP's Instagram story. And this has nothing to do with, well, it does a little bit, but nothing to do with why he should be the club captain. But he posted, it had to have been about 6-7 minutes long, but the team was having some meeting in a dining hall, it seemed like, and I can't remember exactly who it was, but there were, I think, Gonzalo Higuain, Dylan Castaneda. I didn't write it down. I should have. Dylan Castaneda, who we actually have talked to. Who else? I believe Blaise Matuidi was up there. There were a couple of different guys who were standing on a stool, and this is just like some kind of thing in the soccer world, but they all had to sing a song in front of all of their teammates, and it was just hilarious. I think Higuain sang Despacito. It was, and he really got into it. He was jumping off the chair and everything. Matuidi sang some song that's only a couple of guys knew. I mean, just really funny. But where I would want to get to that, get from that is, LGP on social media has been really good in interacting with all of the players' posts and everything. And it just seems like he's kind of that guy that top of the, the helm, he is the leader. He's just going to everyone. He's making sure they're good. He's putting fire emojis. Maybe that's really small, and I get it, but I haven't seen that from any other player. It just seems like I always see LGP commenting and responding to even the young guys on the team, like the Josh Penns and the Patrick C. He's there. He seems like he wants to be involved, and it's great to see. That's just off the field stuff. When it comes to on the field stuff, I can tell you a million reasons why LGP should be the captain, but or why he possibly is going to be. I just, for some reason, my head's going down that path. It's going to be LGP. But I said a couple days ago to Alex Winley and my other friend Andres, who we have a group chat together where we discuss all things Inter Miami, and I said, I have a little bit of a hot take here, and it's something that I want to see, but I want to see Lewis Morgan as captain. And this is just kind of a personal thing. I don't think it would be best. I don't know. I mean, Lewis Morgan's by far my favorite player on the team. He was even going into the season last year, and quickly, he showed the quality that he can provide. But in this season, compared to last season, it looks like he's having a lot more fun. Last season, I know it's just preseason, and I know I'm only getting training videos and whatever, but last season there were times where he was visibly frustrated with just how the play was going. And his instruction from Diego Alonso was literally just to get down the wing and try and cross in a ball. And he did that hundreds of times. Hundreds. Did not stop doing it. That was the only thing he did. And he got visibly frustrated, and he cares so much. He does. And you can see that by the way he plays and how he reacts, everything. And I kind of feel bad for him because we know the type of quality player he is with the ball at his feet, even with the ball off of his feet, making good runs in behind. He's good. He's a really good dribbler, too. I mean, he's got a long shot in him when he needs. You saw that one brace he had last year where he scored a banger from the outside of the box. I mean, he has quality. But this season, I believe he's going to be fully unleashed. And Philip Neville has said he wants his playmakers on the ball. He's only really alluded to Pizarro in that sense, but I think Lewis Morgan should be included there too. With all of this said, I think Lewis Morgan might have a better season than last year. And I know that that's crazy to think because he was our MVP. He played phenomenal. But I see this roster turnover, and I'm looking at all the guys and how they're interacting, and I'm thinking that this team is going to be a lot better than it was last year. And I don't think that will be hard to do, but if the entire team is better, Lewis Morgan is going to be better because he's going to engine this team almost like he did last season. I see it happening again. He also had a chance. This is another thing. He also had a chance to leave for Europe. I think he had multiple chances to leave to Europe. And when I alluded to that, months ago on the show, I was told by a source, I guess, that Lewis Morgan's not going anywhere. He loves South Florida. He wasn't going to go anywhere, and that was kind of confirmed when he signed the new deal, and he's now probably, I believe he's being paid targeted allocation money. So he's getting good money to stay in South Florida. And he stuck with the team. He didn't leave for Europe. I believe he genuinely loves the club and loves being here. And I think that's good for a guy that, we've relied so much on and really didn't give him back as much as he gave us. This season, I think he could be a vocal leader. He's probably a lot more comfortable in a side being, coached by Phil Neville, let's be real. The communication issue last season was real, and it was said, which as stupid as it is, which I genuinely think it is stupid, but it seemed to actually be real after the AJ De La Garza press conference at the end of the year. It seemed to be real. And I think that now, with Neville being here, he's doing as much as he can. I mean, he knows the Spanish language. He knows the English language. He's going back and forth. He tries his best to communicate and connect with the players, it seems. I think Lewis Morgan is going to be happier. He's going to be more content, and that's going to, reflect on his play. I'm kind of only saying this because I just feel I have this gut feeling he's going to be a better player. He's going to be more comfortable. I think he'll want to be vocal, and he will want to get on the ball and do everything he can for this team, and that's why he should be club captain. That's just, for me, it'll be LGP. I'm not going to, take my money and bet that it's going to be Morgan because I think it's going to be LGP, and that's probably the realistic option. But just after everything I said, how passionate I just got about Lewis Morgan, love to see him wearing the captain's armband. And I wouldn't put it past Neville to give it to him. I wouldn't. When I come back, we're going to wrap up the hour. I'm going to be talking about the U.S. Open Cup a little bit. If you guys didn't hear, some pretty cool stuff going on. Maybe Inter Miami might get in. We'll see. Onside Radio enters Kai's Corner with Kai Chin Chisholm every day from 10 a.m. to noon. Join Kai as he discusses the biggest stories in South Florida sports. Tune in every day, 10 a.m. to noon for Kai's Corner on the home for South Florida sports talk. It's OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take Onside Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
A message to help keep you safe. If doctors told us today that we'd made a breakthrough on COVID-19, saving thousands of lives, we would rejoice. Finally, a good news day. We'd feel less afraid that our loved ones would be struck by the invisible enemy. We'd start to feel hope that we could live our lives again. Well, a mask does all that. We can help protect others by covering our noses and mouths, which is how the virus mainly spreads. Masks are a ticket to freedom, to be out in the world, to getting together, back to work, back to doing what we want. If doctors announced we could save lives today, we would grab that breakthrough with both hands. While we wait for a vaccine, grab the breakthrough that's already here. When we're out, it's masks on.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you missed NBA insider Ira Winderman and the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report, you missed this.
Boogie Cousins is the sexy name, but I think they just might as well get someone who is a functional name. They will add another big body. I don't know if it's Boogie, and I'll tell you why, guys. He's been available since February 23rd.
Yeah.
So it's not like 28 other teams haven't had the option as well. That's a little bit concerning to me.
The Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report with NBA insider Ira Winderman, exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
Hello, Inter Miami CF fans. Download the Drink AR app and play inside a first-of-its-kind virtual soccer stadium, hosted by Bodega Trevento and Inter Miami CF, and celebrate your passion for soccer from the comfort of your own home. Find the download links on our Instagram account at Treventus and get our wines delivered straight to your home with a discount for all Inter Miami CF fans. Discover Trevento, a shared passion.
These are unprecedented times, challenging how the YMCA works to strengthen community as we have for nearly 170 years. But we've always found ways to help people and communities in times of crisis. Right now, Ys across the country are providing emergency childcare, shelter, food programs, and outreach to seniors. But we can't do it alone. Whether you're connected to the Y or have a fond Y memory, we need you to stay with us. Reach out to your local Y today and stay with us for a better us.
If you missed 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, you missed.
And the number one, the top trait they're looking for in a partner is someone that can cook better than them.
Wow.
Yeah. How are you at cooking?
I'm okay. Like I cook all my stuff.
What's your best dish? If I had to say, Marsh, this you're gonna eat in tonight with a girl. All right.
Well, if I'm cooking for a girl, then I'm not
meal.
cooking.
4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, weekday mornings from 8 to 10. Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, send a text. The text line is 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right, welcome back. I'm going to round out the first hour here with something that... There's a couple of things in football that I love. I love international competition, and I love cup competitions, especially tournament. One game, where especially like FA Cup style, where lower league teams can come in and take off the top dogs. I love that stuff, man. It just watching. I remember a couple weeks ago watching Marine AFC in I think they're in the 8th division of English football. They took on Tottenham, and Jose Mourinho had to literally go to a stadium that was surrounded by apartment buildings, in which they had the fence around. It was so funny, man. The fence around the building were sectioned off, and it had a number, and each number correlated to the apartment behind where the fence is. So if a ball was kicked over into that section, they knew which apartment to call or which owner to call of the apartment to get the ball back. That's the kind of team, Tottenham Hotspur, who play in the Premier League, who just spent over like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on a new stadium. That's where they were playing in an FA Cup game. So I love this kind of stuff. And last year, we were deprived of the U.S. Open Cup, in which a lot of magic happens. Ask Miami FC and their win against Atlanta United a couple of years ago. We were deprived of it because of COVID, and it's finally back. It's a little different. It's actually a lot different because there are a lot less teams able to qualify. But Inter Miami have a chance. And last year, before it was, struck down, I was saying that is a realistic goal for Inter Miami to go for. To get CONCACAF Champions League qualification, they should really strive and win the U.S. Open Cup. Because MLS teams, they focus on it for sure, but a lot of them focus on the league for the most part and getting into the playoffs. If you go and win the Open Cup, you have intercontinental competition. And it's back, and you're able to do that again. But this is how an MLS team qualifies, okay? Because the season is starting late and the U.S. Open Cup is starting in the summer, the qualification is a lot shorter and a lot different than how it used to be. This season, they're only going to go off of the first 3 weeks of opening play. That's right. So against, I don't even remember who we play, LA Galaxy and 2 other teams, those 3 games are going to be counted towards Inter Miami's U.S. Open Cup qualification, okay? Same with every other team. So 8 of the best teams in MLS who go through these 3 games, depending on points per game. So if you win all 3, you get 9 points. You get 3 points per game. You're probably going to have to win your first 3 games to try and get in. But if there are more than 8 teams that do that, the tiebreakers go like this. Goal differential, so that's a standard. Then it goes to goals for. So if you scored more goals than others with the same goal differential, you get to go through. And then the next tiebreaker after goals for, so we're down to the third one now, is fewest disciplinary points, which if you ask the Senegalese national team, it's pretty bullcrap. I don't like this tiebreaker at all. They had to deal with this in the World Cup group stage in 2018. It's the reason they didn't get to go to the knockouts after they had a really good team. And because of yellow cards, they don't go through. Did not like that at all. But that is part of it. And then you have away goal differential per away match. Away goals 4 per away match. Home goal differential per home match. Home goals 4, and then a coin toss. So basically, Inter Miami need to come out swinging the first 3 weeks of the season if they want to play in the Open Cup. And I think that's something that they should do. Now, we just talked with Kobe Price, and we talked about how we might not have, our full roster ready for weeks 1, 2, and 3, or 4, whenever. But at least for the first 3 weeks, I don't know if Kelvin Leardham's going to be our starting right back. We know he's the best quality right back on the team, but is he ready to start as our right back? Is Jovan Jones ready to start as our left back? Is Grigore ready to start next to Matuidi in the midfield? I don't know. But if they can push it and Phil Neville can get these guys ready, then they need to start, because now there are rewards for starting off the season strong. I know it's 34 games, but the first 3 weeks are massively important. Let's qualify for the Open Cup. I hope you're listening, Phil Neville. With that said, we're going to go straight into the second hour here of Red Card Radio. Going to be talking U.S. men's national team, including a Daryl Dike discussion, and we'll get into more stuff later on. Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to 2 of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans. It's OnSideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take OnSide Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at OnSideRadio.com.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Duncan to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
For over 20 years, Mr. Glass has been committed to the safety and satisfaction of our clients. Our products are the culmination of innovative engineering, aesthetic appeal, and the highest levels of quality. Through our legacy, Mr. Glass strives to impart the true meaning of quality, service, and sustainability to new generations. Reputation, experience, and trust is why clients choose Mr. Glass. Live the future now. Locate a dealer near you today.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
He was the heart of your family, and he taught you our history. He helped you fix your first flat. He was the best backyard DJ around, and every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect, in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at storycorpsconnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
If you missed Man of the Match with Alex Donno, you missed.
I think we need to normalize the nickname Dick again. There used to be a lot of dicks. Now, people think about the male anatomy. I don't know why we can't use Dick as a nick. There was something the strong, silent type would have the name Dick. Yeah, sure, it was a nickname for Richard, but Richards now will just go by Rich or Richard. Like, nobody goes by Dick anymore. I think we need to normalize Dick.
Man of the Match with Alex Donno from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Riddle me this. With all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread, who should get credit for Papa John's new papadilla? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new papadilla, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's.
Hey everybody, it's Good Greek Moving and Storage, and for over 2 decades, they've been entrusted to handle all of your moving and storage needs. And now, Good Greek is the official mover of Inter Miami CF. And if Inter Miami trusts the Good Greek, you should too. For the best move ever, whether it's across town or across the country, go to GreekMoving.com. That's GreekMoving.com for Good Greek Moving and Storage, the official movers of your Inter Miami CF.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right, and we're back for the second hour of Red Card Radio here. Welcome in. I'm excited to get to talk U.S. men's national team with you guys. I'm only keeping it to one segment today because I talked a little bit about it with Toastin Marsh this week every Wednesday. Like I said, I have a weekly segment with them, 8:35. Get up bright and early and listen to it. Those two guys do a great job covering everything South Florida sports, really. And we know Toast is a big Liverpool fan, I believe. I think, yeah, Liverpool, which is sad. I'm so sorry.
Look at you moving up in the world. You got your weekly segment now, huh?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
You like that?
Look at you looking up, and that's new news to me, man. I'm out the loop.
Yeah, weekly segment, 8:35 every week with Toast and Marsh. It's pretty cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
One more time, where is it? Weekly when?
Weekly segment, 8:35, 4th and 20, Toast and Marsh is who I'm with. OnSideRadio.com.
Awesome,
every Wednesday.
Awesome. Is that every Wednesday? That's the next
Yep,
one.
every
Okay.
Wednesday.
Got
Wednesday.
it. I'll be listening.
Sounds good. My man Abel, right over there, clicking all the right buttons. Appreciate you, man. So, with the U.S. men's national team comes a lot of discussion. We talked, Marsh was asking me about the U.S. youth team and how they didn't qualify for the Olympics, and I was kind of explaining to him why we didn't have the best players and all of this, whatever. It is sad. It is really sad that they did not qualify for the Olympics, and I fully understand, all of the heat that, the U.S. Soccer Federation is getting. When it comes to the women's team, we know that, they just outshine everybody in the entire world always, okay? So I want to say this, too. When you talk about U.S. soccer, don't let your mind think it's just the men's, because the women's, they're in a different category. I mean, they're just miles and miles above, and we know this. The men are trying to put it together, but it starts at stages like this. It starts at stages in the U23s for the men's team, where you need to qualify with these lower-level sides for major tournaments. And if you can't do that, it's going to have long-lasting effects on your team, on your federation as a whole, on the players, on their development, everything like that. You have to try and qualify for every single big competition that comes your way. It was an absolute failure, especially with the roster that was taken. Now, no, it was not the best roster we could have taken. And there were a couple reasons for that. First, the competition started outside of a FIFA international window. Okay, so a lot of the guys that we have now who are playing for the first team are not, over 23. They could have qualified to play on this team and could have qualified to play in the Olympics. But they weren't ready to do that yet because they're still playing for their big clubs in Europe. That's a problem we're now running into, where our guys are so talented and so young that when we have to have things in CONCACAF that aren't in FIFA international windows, it's hard for them to leave their clubs, and it rarely ever happens. We don't even know if they would have been able to leave for the Olympics. Let's be real. Were Chelsea going to allow Pulisic to leave? I don't know. But with the roster that Jason Kreese put together, with the roster that we had, to lose in the semifinal game against Honduras, especially in the way that they did lose, it was embarrassing. It was just shambolic. I'm trying to think of the worst adjectives ever. I mean, it's very frustrating as a men's national team fan, as a U.S. soccer fan in general, to have to go through that. And obviously that night had, me reminiscing on that night in October of 2017 against Trinidad and Tobago in the hexagonal. You couldn't pull off a win to qualify for the World Cup. You couldn't pull off a draw, let me just say, to qualify for the World Cup. And then Panama goes on and Roman Torres scores a winner almost simultaneously as our game finishes. Roman scores. It had me reminiscing on that night. It felt almost the same. Not fully the same because, the World Cup is a lot different than the Olympics, especially when only a U23 side, can go. But failure to qualify for these competitions will have long-lasting effects on your team, on your players, and on your federation. Jason Kreese, I honestly believe, did a terrible job managing this team, and I know He's an Inter Miami CF assistant manager who coached Fort Lauderdale CF last year. But his resume is not, I mean, the resume he had before getting the U23 job, in my opinion, was not good enough, to land him that job. It just wasn't. He had a very bad win percentage in the league for a couple teams. He gets a U23 job, and he's done nothing good with it. Nothing. And I don't think that he should have been put in charge, and I don't think he should be put in charge going forward. I think that this roster had talent on it. The Jesus Ferreiras, the Sotos, the Jackson Ewell, Sam Vines. There were guys that I can see on the bench for the actual men's senior team. And they couldn't beat a Honduras U23 side? In this tournament, it just went downhill, it seemed like, every single game. The first couple games were okay. We got by the Dominican Republic. Then we go on to play Mexico. We lose 1-0 in a game where we just look really sloppy, and the 1-0 defeat was kind of gracious. I mean, it could have been a lot worse, and then the Honduras game was just a joke. Just a joke of a game. If it wasn't for Jackson Ewell scoring a screamer, I mean, there was no saving grace in that game. Ochoa, with his many mistakes, one very costly that gave Honduras the second goal. I mean, they conceded both their goals at the right before halftime and right after halftime. Looked like Juve against Porto. Just conceding. Super early on. You come out the gate, you're not swinging. I think it was a poorly managed side. And there's a lot of work to be done, and a lot of people that are in positions of power throughout the federation, in my opinion, I mean, it needs fixing. It was a failure not to qualify for the Olympics. But we move on. We have the Gold Cup coming up. We have the CONCACAF Nations League, like Final Four or something coming up. We have World Cup qualifiers, the hexagonal coming up this year. There's a lot to still look forward to with the senior team. A lot, actually, like a lot. And I'm glad that there still is a Gold Cup competition because these guys need big competitions to play in. And I just wish the Olympics could have been one of them, but it won't be. But as for the Gold Cup and as for World Cup qualifiers, I want to talk about how I think, these guys can line up. Potentially, Greg Berhalter may explore going 5 at the back. With a Richards, a Miazga, a Long, a Brooks, a McKenzie. All those center backs are quality enough to start. Right now, your number 1 and number 2, in my opinion, is John Brooks and Chris Richards. But maybe Chris Richards isn't ready yet. He doesn't have the experience. Greg Berhalter seems to really like Aaron Long playing next to John Brooks. Why hasn't Mark McKenzie gotten a shot? I don't know. But if they explore 5 at the back and use Dest in a wing-back role, which would suit him greatly, we know what he can do on the ball and going forward. How you give, other center backs a chance to play. And you can be better defensively that way. You play Dest, you play Robinson, maybe you play Cannon as wingbacks on either side because, as we know now, Dest can play on both sides. It doesn't matter. He's that good. So maybe you play Dest at right wingback. You can play Anthony Robinson at left wingback. Or maybe you slot Reggie Cannon in at right wingback and you put Dest on the left wingback side. It doesn't matter. You'll figure it out. But 5 at the back could be the way to go. They might explore that. But what would you do in front of that? Well, I think it's pretty simple. Weston McKennie, who is an idiot, by the way, and Tyler Adams. Leipzig are taking on Bayern in a couple minutes here, and he's getting in that defensive mid role. We didn't get to see him, obviously, because of just the German rules and regulations for traveling. A lot of the guys didn't. I mean, there was just questions about who got to play in the games, but Tyler Adams wasn't there. And I just think that Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams are the two that you put in that role. I think maybe you lack a little creativity going forward, but they'll provide you a lot at the back. And then in front of that, pretty simply for me, it's Pulisic, Reyna, and Sargent up top. Those three guys, I feel like they have to get the starts. Now, if you run a four at the back, I can see Yunus Musa in the midfield. You can have Tyler Adams all the way in behind as a true defensive midfielder, Weston McKennie a little above, and Yunus Musa, a little above that as a three-man midfield. Providing comfort for Musa to go forward, as he does for Valencia. There's a lot of options there, but Sargent is your number 9. Pulisic has to start. Reyna has to start. McKennie and Adams definitely have to start. Dest has to start. Brooks has to start. Stefan has to start. There's a couple questions in there, but you got 5 or 6 or 7 solid starters for the Gold Cup and for World Cup qualifying. You're ready to go. Is Daryl Dike one of those? No, not yet. But I want to quickly touch on this before we go into break. Daryl Dike, picked 5th by Orlando. Robbie Robinson was taken ahead of him by Inter Miami. I'm going to toot my own horn, and I say this all the time, but I specifically wrote an article before the Super Draft last season and said that Daryl Dike is the number 1 prospect. I said it. I wasn't listened to by Paul McDonough. He took Robbie Robinson, then he took Dylan Nealis. Now, what I don't like, though, is the hate on the club for it at this point in time. Because guess what? Any of the guys other than maybe David Beckham who made that decision to take Robbie Robinson first overall are not employed with the club anymore. They're not here. So drop it. First of all, Orlando doesn't even get to use Daryl Dike. He's being loaned out. Okay? I get it. It sucks. He could have helped last year, but last year's over. We're going into a fully new year with freaking Gonzalo Higuain as our striker. Get over the Daryl Dike thing. Stop hating the club for it. Paul McDonough's not here. Diego Alonso is not here. Get over it. He's playing at Barnsley. He's probably going to get bought by a Premier League side. He's not going to. You'll never see him in a purple kit in America ever again. So we're fine. Be happy with Higuain. You should be more than content with Higuain. Okay, I'm done ranting. We're going to get to European and club action, finally. Finally, here on Red Card Radio. Weeknights, 6 to 7 p.m., catch Game Night with Michael Christian. Listen to the show that provides the smorgasbord gamers love and sports fans desire. From breaking sport news to the latest in gaming culture, catch Game Night with Michael Christian from 6 to 7 p.m. exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio. No station in South Florida provides more live and local sports talk. Follow us on social media at Onside Radio.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
OnSideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, suckers?
here's your On-Side Radio E-Report with Michael Christian.
Among Us, one of the breakout games from 2020, is finally getting a new map. The game that became an almost overnight sensation and had a player base of nearly 500 million people is getting the update many have been waiting for. Initially, Innersloth, the game's developer, had plans for a sequel, but decided to push those back to focus on improving the current game. Today, Innersloth shared that the game will have a completely updated art style with cleaner lines and an easier animation process. Not only that, but they plan on expanding max lobby sizes to 15, and the new map, Airship, finally went live. If you felt like you mastered all the maps in the current game, hop back in and try the new map, Airship. I'm sure you won't know which of your friends is sus.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the On-Side Radio E-Report. The card is out. The show is on. Soccer fans. Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard is on. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. The text line is 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Lining up for that pressure kick, here's your host, Austin Robillard, with Red Card Radio.
The Champions League music, the Manchester United chant. We're going to be talking about those things finally. No more international break. I've already wrapped up my hour and 23-ish minutes of Inter Miami and U.S. men's talk. And for the rest of the show today, it's going to be about European football, European club football that is kicking off and starting again. And I am very, very excited because this is the way to come back from international break, let me tell you. This is the lineup for today. Just to name a couple games. Arsenal versus Liverpool. Man City versus Leicester City. Right now going on, we have PSG and Lille, which is a race for winning League One in France. And then you have Bayern Munich versus Leipzig. And if Leipzig can pull out a victory today, they'll just be 1 point away from Bayern at the top of Bundesliga. Amazing stuff. I'm looking at ESPN2 now. They just had Jurgen Klinsmann on. Taylor Twellman is talking with Sebastian Salazar. Getting ready to show this game on ESPN2, which doesn't happen very often at all. I am very actually surprised that they're putting this on TV. Way to go, ESPN. You got a lot more to do, though. You got a lot more to do. But I'm glad this is happening. I want to talk quickly though about a game that happened this morning regarding one of our U.S. men's national team stars in Christian Pulisic and Chelsea. 7:30 a.m. was the kickoff time, and I was excited because Christian Pulisic got the start. Finally, Thomas Tuchel starts Pulisic for a Premier League game, and Pulisic scores, actually. He wins a foul at the top of the box. Free kick comes, saved by the keeper, and he scores the rebound after running in. This is sometime in the first half, and then at halftime, or right before halftime, West Brom scored twice in like 5 minutes. 2-1 going into the break, and then the news that Christian Pulisic had been subbed off at halftime. Now, it is upsetting because Pulisic deserves a lot more. He deserves to be playing over a lot of guys in one of those Chelsea blue uniforms. I was very confused by it. I didn't know what Tuchel was doing. If you're going to start the guy, let him go for as long as he can. You don't need to sub him off after 45 minutes, especially after he scores, man. It just frustrated me. And then I see a video posted, a couple minutes ago on Twitter by Grant Wall that Pulisic, after running out of the locker room, seemed like he had a little bit of a muscle tightness as he was getting out, and he got as he crossed the line getting onto the field. And that might have had something to do with the substitution. I hope not. I hope there is no injury for Pulisic. But any way that it is, whether it was a Tuchel decision or it was a muscle injury decision, it still sucks. And it sucks for Chelsea because they went on to lose 5-2 to West Brom, a team in 19th place. Chelsea are battling for top 4, and you go on to lose to a side that's about to be relegated. The top 4 race is close, and if actually West Ham get a win in their next game, which is on Monday against Wolves, they'll go ahead of Chelsea by a point, and Chelsea will drop down to 5th. Tottenham are right there. They can tie Chelsea on points, go ahead on goal differential, actually. Liverpool won't be too far behind. That is a bad game to lose coming out of international break. Sucks for Chelsea. Not for me. As you know, I'm wearing the kit today. If you're on YouTube, you can see I'm wearing the Man United kit. Shout out to Michael for my birthday present. Yeah, man. The Premier League top 4 race is heating up. Now we know Man City are winning the league. It is what it is. They're about 14 points ahead. But the top 4 race is heating up. And actually, as it is in Germany, Dortmund might have trouble qualifying for the Champions League this season. The way it's going, I think that they're about 7. Yeah, they are 7 points out with 7 games left. If they don't qualify for the Champions League, bye-bye Haaland. They will not get another year of him. Erling Haaland needs to be playing in the Champions League every single year. And if Dortmund can't provide that, he's gone in the summer. I don't care. He's gone. Bye-bye. Man. It's just sad from Dortmund. It really is. And they said that if they don't qualify for Champions League, it could be a real catastrophe for the club. It would suck, too, because we have Giovanni Reina over there as men's national team fans. I want our Americans to be playing in Champions League as well if they're the quality to do that. What's gone on with Dortmund? I don't know. Over in France, like I said, Lille is taking on PSG, and they went up 1-0. Lille, that is, not PSG. PSG are down 1-0. Lille scored really early. Jonathan David, the 21-year-old Canadian who I rave about, scored. And then 15 minutes later had an injury and got subbed off. And Timothy Weah, the American, came on. It's now in the 70th minute. It's still 1-0. They just made a couple of substitutions. PSG did. Draxler came on. Dagba, Bakker. I mean, I'm not sure. I heard the game was getting a little feisty. I've seen a couple of yellow cards. Neymar put his hand on one of the players for Lille. A lot of things going on over there. Lots. But that's for the title. I mean, this game could potentially be for the title. There are 7 games left for both teams. And if Lille stick out the win, they are up by 3 points. They don't play each other again. They're up by 3 points with 7 games to go. 66 for Lille, 63 for PSG. And then Monaco are in behind with 62. So it's actually getting spicy in the French league. Imagine that one. And it actually, I mean, like I said, it's getting spicy in the Bundesliga too. I mean, if Leipzig can pull out a win today with no Lewandowski, which I'll get into in the next segment, there is a chance that they could push for the title. If they lose today, I think it's kind of done. They'll be down by 7 points. But there's work to be done over there. Man City and Leicester just kicked off. It's 12:30. Jamie Vardy's in the lineup. Sergio Aguero is actually playing for Manchester City today. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Aguero before we head on into some Champions League talk in the next segment. But Aguero announced he was leaving Manchester City in the summer. And I mean, what else can you say? He's a Premier League legend, won so many titles, never won a Champions League. But really, he won a lot of Premier League titles with them, was really good for a really long time. Unfortunately, never better than Rooney. Yep, there goes my bias. Look, there's a lot to be said about Aguero's career in the Premier League. A lot. And I'll leave it to a Man City fan to do that. But where does he end up? Does he go back to Argentina? Does he go to a different country to play in Europe? Does he pull a Carlos Tevez and take a bunch of money in China? Was that Carlos Tevez who did that? I believe it was. What's next for Sergio Aguero? I'll tell you this. It's not Inter Miami, so don't even try to push that. And yeah, I'm speaking to you, International Champions Cup Twitter admin. They posted a graphic the other day with Aguero, where should Aguero go or something like that. And they put Inter Miami in the graphic. And I was just like, so yeah, here it is. Where could Sergio Aguero end up next season? Had him in a Argentinian jersey, a Barca jersey, Atletico Madrid jersey, and then an Inter Miami badge next to his face in the fourth picture. And I put, this is so stupid. Why is Inter Miami here? We have no more money. And they actually responded with a little GIF. And I told them, I was like, look, I respect you guys. You've given me a lot of great memories. But please try and do a little bit to understand the league that you play your games in. Or the country of the league that you play your games in. There's no money for Sergio Aguero, okay? There's none. Get over it. There's no money. It's annoying to be linked with everybody. It really is, especially as a hardcore fan who really knows what's going on when it comes to money and MLS and the roster rules and regulations. It sucks being linked and then having all these expectations, and that's kind of the downfall of last season. But let's change the narrative going into this year. What do you say, my Heranitos? Florida Panthers fans have a place to call home every Saturday morning as Cats insider David Dwork will host Chirpin' the Cats radio every Saturday at 10 a.m. Onside Radio is committed to all sports. Panthers fans can now connect every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. with David Dwork on the home for Panthers fans worldwide. It's OnSideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take Onside Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at OnSideRadio.com.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwart here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players, and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., only on OnSideRadio.com.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, send a text. The text line is 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Austin Robillard.
All right, we're back here. I'm tuned in. I'm locked in to this Leipzig-Bayern game here on ESPN2 that we have playing in studio. Ooh, might be a penalty call, but not so much. Now, Leipzig are fully dominating the first 4 minutes and 15 seconds of this game. The press is high. Nagelsmann has told them to press high. They're getting numbers in the box. They're trying to whip in balls, but it has not worked yet. Sabitzer had a chance where he really tried like a scorpion kick, but it didn't come through. He was offside. But this looks like it's going to be a really, really fun game. I would definitely tune in. This is, yeah. Tell me.
What is a scorpion kick? What does it do? Is that like a bicycle kick?
Okay.
Something?
So you know how a scorpion's tail goes like that?
They can't see you on TV, but I got it.
Okay, so if you're watching on YouTube, you can see
right.
It curls in.
Right.
Now, what Sabitzer tried to do, his chest goes forward.
Right.
And his right heel comes up to his head.
Oh, like so he's literally in the air looking down at the ground.
He's not in the air. He's basically on like one leg.
One leg.
You could be.
I got you.
You could be in the air. That has happened.
So it's kicking that ball that way.
You're kicking the ball with your heel coming towards your head because the ball's behind you.
Got you. So it's like fooling the opponent.
Well,
it goes over you.
It's tough to do, and it's in.
Oh, yeah.
It never happens really, But it's quite the spectacle if it ever is pulled off. There was actually a really good bicycle kick today in the Serie A from a lower table team, but yeah, some of the stuff these guys, soccer players are athletes, man. Americans don't give them enough credit.
I see that.
They don't give them enough credit. Nah, but
dude, they run like at least 4 or 5 miles.
Oh yeah,
way
easily.
more than that. Easily a half. Forget a game, a half.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
I'm exhausted just watching them. I feel like telling the coach to give me a break.
Yeah, it gets to be a lot.
Oh yeah.
In high school, when I was training, I was a goalkeeper.
Were you?
And my coach told me I had the condition like all the other players.
But you don't move.
And I don't move.
Right.
But it was good for me. I wasn't, I was in good shape.
Just in case somebody else might get hurt. You look like you was a pretty good talent.
Boy. I was the bench warmer, but I was like the hype man, the backup goalkeeper. I was one of those guys.
You was our what is this guy in Miami he just got rid of?
Myers Leonard.
See, you knew exactly what time. The biggest cheerleader in the world.
Yeah,
great laugh.
That's kind of what I did in high school, but my coach loved it. My coach is a really good
You
guy.
fooled me because you look like kind of athletic. I thought you really.
No, I mean I'm not athletic. It's just like I wasn't better than the guy above me. I played like there were times where I started.
You had a lot of heart, not enough talent.
There you go. I had a lot of heart. Well, that's where.
Hey, sometimes what counts, man.
I guess so.
Yeah, man. The glue guy.
Yeah, the glue guy. On the bench, having a good time, motivating the players. Woo! And when those times got cold, man, sitting on the bench, you had to wrap up in blankets and everything. Oh, it was the worst.
Oh, wow.
It was the worst. Playing soccer in the winter here is not very fun. Anyway.
Wait a minute. You're talking about winter here?
Yeah, even here, dude.
Man, get out of here.
If it gets like 60 degrees and you're running.
Are you from here?
Yeah.
And you're okay. I got it now.
So I'm from here.
Yeah, I got it.
But playing in 60 degrees with no sun.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Running your chest, your lung. Dude, I don't know how, like, a couple of, like, the Frozen games, I don't get it. How do you do that? How do you perform at peak ability in sub-degree weather?
It's easy when you know at the end of this game, in the next couple of hours, you have a good $300,000 check waiting on you.
Okay, yeah, that's
kind of easier there.
Yeah, I guess you could put your mind to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't getting a $300,000 check in high school, so.
Oh, that's definitely not.
little different. But some of these guys get big checks, especially if you're playing in the Champions League. And we have the quarterfinals coming up on April 6th and 7th. I probably won't be able to get to watch the games on the 6th, but I will be able to get to watch the games on the 7th, which I'm excited about. But I want to get into my picks and a couple of news updates. So Bayern Munich have lost Lewandowski. Choupo-Moting is playing in this game against Leipzig right now. And that's a big loss, and it's going to give PSG a lot of confidence. If they lose to Lille, maybe that confidence is gone. But, if it makes the tie a lot more even. I would say Bayern would run away with it, but I still think Bayern will run away with it. But PSG looked just that much better without going against Lewandowski. It's crazy to say, but that's how much of an impact he has. I still take Bayern 100% in this leg. I mean, it's in both legs. They're too good, man. Even with Neymar back for PSG, they got by Barca without him. I'm still taking Bayern. They're too deep. They have too much talent. They're well coached. What else can you say about it? They won 5 titles last year. They just won the Club World Cup. You can't say enough. As for PSG, if they lose to Lille, they've got to win something this year. And I think they actually did. They won the French Cup with Pochettino, his first trophy like ever. But if they don't win Champions League or their domestic league, that is kind of seen as a failure of a season for a side who spends so much money on players and talent. Man, that would be bad. So PSG, a lot of pressure is mounting on that side. The other game that's on Wednesday is Porto and Chelsea. And let me just say this. After seeing the West Brom scoreline this morning, do not write off Porto, especially after their last performance against Juventus. Do not write off Porto. I think they can give Chelsea a run for their money. And if they do, just know that I said no. I think Chelsea will get past. But I think it'll be a lot more entertaining than people might think. I think Porto are really gonna grind this one out, as they did against Juventus. They with 10 men, by the way, they grinded that tie out. Man City and Dortmund, however, I am not expecting to be all that fun to watch. Maybe attacking wise, it'll be fun. You know, the Pep Guardiola style against the Haaland. I mean, every time Haaland's on the field, it's a fun thing. You know, it's something to watch. But I think Man City are just going to dominate. I was wrong before. I thought Sevilla would dominate Dortmund. I didn't give them enough credit. But it's not that they'd ever deserve the credit. Like I said in the last segment, they are 7 points out of a Champions League spot in Bundesliga. And there's only 7 games left. We're getting to the end. And they haven't performed well enough in the league to secure a Champions League spot. That's bad from a Dortmund side, especially a Dortmund side with the talent they have, including the likes of Erling Haaland, who needs to be playing in the Champions League. I'll reiterate that. Get Erling Haaland in the Champions League at all costs. If he has to leave Dortmund, so be it. He will leave Dortmund at some point, but I just don't know where he's going. But Man City should steamroll Dortmund. I'm expecting like 6-2 aggregate score. 6-2. And then you have Real Madrid versus Liverpool, which just got really interesting. I believe that I told my listeners on my last show or the week before that I thought Liverpool would somehow get past Real Madrid. I don't know if I can't remember. But I didn't think Real Madrid was going to go too far. But if they go on to beat Liverpool, it will have to be without Sergio Ramos, who picked up another injury this season. Who would they start at center back? Would it be, does Militao still get time? They played Eibar today, I believe. I think Benzema scored late. Got a 2-0 win. They went with okay, there you go. Eder Militao, Nacho Fernandez, Ferland Mendy at the back with Vasquez and Marcelo out wide. Casemiro. It's a lot different lineup for Zinedine Zidane without Sergio Ramos there. Will that be enough to get past Liverpool? The Manes, the Salahs. They haven't been the Liverpool as of late, but in the Champions League, I'm not gonna say Liverpool aren't gonna be good. We'll see what they do against Arsenal today. With the lineup that may look like, Diego Jota's back too. There you go. He's been playing well, scoring goals. He scored a couple goals for Portugal in the international break. They still have no Van Dijk, though. They'll probably be playing a lineup of like Kabak or Phillips, or I don't know. You have no Gomez, no Matip, no Van Dijk. Gotta be a struggle for Liverpool, man. But I don't know. Without Ramos, I mean, now that I'm really thinking about it, I would say Real Madrid are going to win, but it won't be easy, especially without Ramos. But because of the attacking talent, I think Liverpool might have a chance. We'll see. But officially, here, on this day, I'm taking Man City to beat Dortmund, Real Madrid to beat Liverpool, Bayern to beat PSG, and Chelsea to beat Porto. I don't want to say that, but if I was a betting man, I would say that. I just think that is the most toss-up tie. I really think Porto have a good chance. I want to see Porto win. I'm rooting for them. I also don't really like Chelsea all too much. That's just how it goes. Miami Dolphins fans can always count on the best coverage at OnsideRadio.com every week. Keep up with your favorite team as Dolphins writer Omar Kelly joins us with exclusive reports and when news breaks. Catch the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins report on the home for Dolphins fans everywhere, OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard. Take Onside Radio your home for sports talk everywhere with a MyTuner Radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com.
ADHD.
It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's moretoadhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
If you missed Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report sponsored by EJDconstruction.com today, you missed this.
The players sold their soul for the ability to smoke weed, larger salaries for rookies, knowing that the 17th game was a major component that's going to lead to a huge, tremendous jump in the television contract. So they sold their soul, play the game. You'll get 3 preseason games instead of 4. Ultimately, you're playing 20 games. So you signed up for it, so don't be mad when owners opt into it, which they have every right to do.
Omar Kelly and the Miami Dolphins report, brought to you by EJD Construction. Count on a company that's an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. EJDconstruction.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
And might you be buzzed when you suddenly love everything?
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Welcome back to Red Card Radio. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Austin Robillard.
Here, wow, crazy developments here in France. PSG and Lille, it's 1-0, 94th minute, and Lille are still up 1-0. PSG have not found the equalizer, and they won't be finding it from Neymar, who just got his second yellow card and is out. Done. Red card for Neymar here on Red Card Radio. Bye-bye. I think he just retaliated after Djalo was going back. And I mean, I heard the game got really chippy. I couldn't find a stream for it. I don't subscribe to anything that provides it to me. But no Neymar for the rest of this game. Should be going up soon. And then also a Leo player got a red card. So, man, I want to see how many minutes did they add? 4 minutes added. It should be ending very, very shortly. Man, Leo will go top of the table by 3 points in France. I think that's the first time this has happened. A live red card on Red Card Radio. Pretty good one. Live red card. 2 of them, actually, on Red Card Radio. Like I said, we've got Arsenal, Liverpool coming up at 3 o'clock, and then some other really good games tomorrow, too. Or not really good game, but Manchester United are finally back in action. That's good for me, anyway. Taking on Brighton. Brighton always gives us a tough challenge. But coming off international break, we see how teams perform. And I'm hoping that we can keep it together. Hopefully Rashford is healthy as well. He picked up a knock. Did not go with the English team to a couple of games. And then also in Spain, I mentioned briefly that Real Madrid got a win. 2-0. Sevilla are taking on Atletico Madrid, in which now the title race is really heating up, because if Atletico don't get any points against Sevilla, it's only a 3-point race. And for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, it was Atletico probably have this in the bag. They're so far ahead with so many games in hand and blah, blah, blah. And it seems they've just fully lost the plot. I mean, fully lost the plot. Real Madrid and Barca are chasing heavily with about 10 games to go in that league. 9, 10 games, depends on what team you are. But it's heating up. So there you go. You have a title race in France, a title race potentially in the Bundesliga, a title race in Spain. Do we have a title race in Italy? I think AC Milan aren't playing very well at all. Had a 1-1 draw this morning, and that was kind of sad. Sampdoria scored. Jans-Peter Hauge had to score really late, I think I saw. But yeah, 5 points ahead with 2 games in hand for Inter Milan. If they can just get a couple points in the next 2 games, they should be good. So it really looks like Serie A and the Premier League are wrapped up. But in France, in Germany, and in Spain, there could be really good potential matches down the line here with 9, 8, 7 games left in each season. That's exciting stuff. Really exciting stuff. We got no crosstalk, so we're ending the show here in a little bit. I still have this Leipzig-Bayern game on. It looks like Bayern have gotten themselves more into the game. Somebody seems pretty frustrated, but I want to see Leipzig win just to make things interesting. I know Kai Chin-Chisholm won't really like that too much. I got to have him on the show sometime soon. He was going back and forth with me on Twitter about the Premier League. Follow me on Twitter, by the way, at Austin Robillard. I tweet a lot of goofy stuff, but it's mostly about soccer all the time. So if you like that, if you're listening, I'm assuming you like soccer. So go ahead and check me out there. I post my articles from 5 Reasons and everything like that. And then I also just banter. A lot of banter. But we have fun. And today, Pulisic scored a goal. And for some reason, really early when I quote tweeted somebody who posted the goal, I said, it's a world-class goal if you ask me. And it got a lot of love, like just out of nowhere. And I was just kind of joking because it was just a rebound. But that's the kind of stuff I do. I keep up with the teams I like, with the big stories. And obviously, I write my own stories. So make sure you check me out there. And make sure you check me out next week on Red Card Radio. Again, on Saturday from 11 to 1, we will be 8 days away at that point from Inter Miami's first game against LA Galaxy. Not first ever game. I'm telling you, this year feels like an inaugural season all over again. It just does. I don't know. Super weird. But we're kicking off the second year against LA Galaxy on the 18th next week. And the week after, we'll have 2 shows leading up to it. I can't wait for what's in store and more Champions League and European competition to talk about. So Make sure you stay tuned. And as for everybody listening now, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Follow me on Twitter. Follow Onside Radio on Twitter. And with that said, thank you, and we'll see you next week. Peace out.
Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. No station in South Florida provides more live and local sports talk.
This is like rock and roll with no music.
Follow us on social media at Onside Radio.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit more2adhd.com for additional information. That's more2adhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
These are unprecedented times, challenging how the YMCA works to strengthen community as we have for nearly 170 years. But we've always found ways to help people and communities in times of crisis. Right now, Ys across the country are providing emergency childcare, shelter, food programs, and outreach to seniors. But we can't do it alone. Whether you're connected to the Y or have a fond Y memory, we need you to stay with us. Reach out to your local Y today and stay with us for a better us.
Hello, Inter Miami CF fans! Download the Drink AR app and play inside a first-of-its-kind virtual soccer stadium, hosted by Bodega Trevento and Inter Miami CF, and celebrate your passion for soccer from the comfort of your own home. Find the download links on our Instagram account at Treventus and get our wines delivered straight to your home with a discount for all Inter Miami CF fans. Discover Trevento, a shared passion.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. Fan, time to get in the zone. The Onside Zone.
And look, man, I don't care if you're my wife. If I don't agree with you, I'm going to say it. You know what I mean?
The Onside Zone.
He's a liar. And there's nothing new about that. He's full of crap. If you're believing that, I got a bridge in the Keys. It's the one on the right side. Just want you to know, when you're going south, you'll see the smaller bridge on the right. I've got that one for sale if you're interested.
You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
That's the one boy band that I will say, dude, I'll stand up for Boys to Men every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Love those guys.
You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. The Onside Zone with a big O.
All right. All right. I love it. It's a Friday. You made it. You made it to Friday. Welcome aboard to the Onside Zone. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful day. We're especially on this show. I know on the next show too, you're going to feel happiness from Alex Donno's voice, just like mine, because we're watching Ethereum blow up. We're watching Bitcoin blow up and some other ones. I'll tell you this. When VeChain starts to blow up, that's when I'm going to also lose my freaking mind. Okay? That's the one that I'm counting on to make a big difference down the line. And maybe a little Cardano, too. Looking forward to that one also. But anyway, welcome aboard.
Crypto, bro.
A really interesting day yesterday in sports as the Heat end up winning, the Panthers end up winning, and unfortunately the Marlins lose in a game where Alcantara cannot do any more than that. And listen, I think it's going to be an issue for this team right now because they're not looked at as a great offense. The part that stands out with that team, when you look at it right from the get-go, it's pitching. It's always what we talk about. Oh, hey, that young staff. They've got, Pablo pitches today. It's pretty cool. Sucks that Sixto now has to get an MRI on his shoulder, but it's kind of the, hey, the Travis Rogers kid, very interesting. That's why we're watching, because the pitching department is impressive. You know what I mean? And so it's up to the hitters now. They've got to grow into this position. Now, it's only one game. Maybe their offense is going to be better. But I think that most of us, with common sense, are looking at it like, okay, you kind of know that the starting pitching is pretty damn good and it can keep you in games, but it's going to be up to that offense to mature and find a way to produce some runs. So today at 7:10, Ryan Yarbrough taking on Pablo Lopez. We'll see what happens on Saturday. I know they've got Rich Hill. I don't even know who the Marlins are pitching on Saturday. They're off on Sunday, by the way. So Panthers will be back in action tomorrow night against Columbus after beating the Red Wings 3-2 yesterday. Vetrano, Wenberg, and Achari with the goals. And then the Heat with Oladipo's debut. Not much offensively, right? The dunk was really nice. Actually, I was more impressed with Tito's guy, Duncan Robinson, because not only was he shooting,
he's driving to the basket.
He was, the cut to the basket was beautiful, but the pump and then drive to the hoop and lay it up, I was like, yo, Duncan, what's up with that, dude? Come on. All right, I like this. Showing a little variety there, Tito. Were you happy with that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I feel like this is probably one of the key things that makes the Duncan Robinson contract discussion a lot more difficult, right? If he's finishing at a respectable clip at the basket and now teams have to understand that he's a driving threat as well, it changes the complete dynamic of that conversation because now teams won't press out as hard on him as they used to, right? His defense is still a liability, but he is such an offensive threat both from the three-point line and maybe, potentially, driving to the basket, that, like I said, it makes his contract conversation a little bit more digestible.
Yeah, well, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Not a bad game for Duncan yesterday. Tyler was 2 of 5 from three-point range, had 20 points. It looks like the young guys are playing with a little bit more, I don't know, I'm not going to say confidence, but maybe security or something now that they know they're here and they're not going anywhere. That is what it is. Although, Tyler has got some news. Did you hear about Tyler's news?
I did not.
Katya Elise Henry put out a sonogram Then she deleted it right away.
Oh, no.
She's preggo.
Wow.
I mean, congratulations. You know, I hate to be cynical, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I hope it ends well for the kid. I hope their love is real. You know what I'm saying? Because you're that young. I mean, we're all young, man. And you know, I don't want to assume or anything. Maybe this is a real love affair. It happens that people are young and they fall in love and they actually stay in love and they stay together through good, through bad, through health, through sickness, through rich, through poor. You know what I'm saying? That's what real relationships are all about, right? I mean, nothing's ever rosy all the way through. You're going to have bumps and bruises. You're going to I'm not talking physically, by the way. But you know what I'm saying? So I hate to be cynical, but wow, you know, this is a hell of an addition for a young kid like this. And, you know, so I guess she took it down because she's not 3 months. And so maybe, you know, because that whole thing, you don't want to talk about it for the first couple months. And maybe somebody reminded her and then she took it down. But she's pregnant. So, you know, I'm just hoping this is not baby mama number 1. You get what I'm saying? I'm just hoping this is your only baby mama when it's all said and done, because you got to compartmentalize all this kind of stuff. Some guys can, some guys can't. Some women can, some women can't. It's not the easiest thing in the world to have relationship issues. And in their case, you're talking about a basketball player and an IG model. So the public's going to be involved. Like, we're already involved as it is. Like, I already know about it. You know what I mean? So I know that Katya is already pregnant. So I'm just, you know, I don't mean to be negative about it. I wish them the best. It's just anybody that has lived a life already like I have, and you see somebody so young making those kind of commitments so early when they've got so much of their lives ahead of themselves, and they really know what they want? And I hope, you know, just hope for the best. That's all I'm saying, you know. What did it make you think right away there, Tito?
Oh, I was just saying congratulations to the kid, man. If that's real, then congratulations to him.
Yeah.
I don't really. Yeah, I mean, if he's an adult like he says he is, then he'll handle his business, and that's the end of it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I just hope his business doesn't become a public Malik Beasley type of thing, right? It was Malik Beasley, right? That was with
yes,
with the 46-year-old that makes the rounds all over the NBA. What's her name? Larsa Pippen, right? So, you know, I'm just saying, it just wish them the best. I just hope it's not the beginning for Tyler and a lot of mess, you know, down the line. Hopefully it goes smooth. Let's just put it that way. Just got to say it that way. But anyway, congratulations to Tyler and Katya. Time to grow up now. You ain't playing house anymore. Heat get it done against the Warriors, 116-109. Tomorrow they will take on Cleveland at 8 o'clock. And let's see if they've won. They've won what?
3 in a row.
3 in a row now, right?
3 in a row.
So Panthers 4 in a row. Heat 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So not bad. Now we got to get the Marlins, you know, taken off and seeing if they can actually, you know, get it done. So we'll see if they can win tonight. Pablo and the boys, they got to score some runs is what they got to do in this one. So we will definitely find that out. Anyway, a lot of things to talk about on the show. If you want to get in, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623 if you want to get in on the show. Now, we have a roundtable question that we pose every day to all of our hosts. And remember that at the end of the day, Alex Aguirre puts it all together, and then he posts it. And you can actually find all of our roundtable segments at Onside Radio